Hello, TJ. In the last episode, you proposed the question, what is on the other side of a black hole, or what happens when you go into a black hole? Although I'm not quite sure you remember correctly on what we discussed, I don't believe I actually said it was like a bowl and it did this thing and it just went woo-woo. That would be quite silly. Anyway, I'll tell you, regardless of what I used to believe, what I believe right now. I'm going to give you two theories, one of which I believe and one I want to believe but don't necessarily believe. The theory that I do believe: I don't believe what goes into a black hole can ever get out. A black hole is an area of space-time where gravity prevents basically anything from getting out of it, including light, thus the name black hole. So if this definition of a black hole is to be true, there is no point of return for anything that goes into the black hole. As I'm sure you're already aware of, a black hole is formed when a star collapses upon itself or implodes. I think they're both kind of the same thing, but I'm going to put R just in case they aren't. And the way a black hole increases in size is it actually consumes the mass around it. Therefore, the mass it is consuming is not escaping from the black hole, it's just sucking in greedily more mass around it, whether it's planets or stars or just everything. It's basically like a fat man that goes to a $7 buffet. He'll take everything before you get your chance to even get in line. And if you're not careful, he'll actually pull you in too. Of course, I said I had two theories today. That first one was the one I actually believe, and here's the one I hope and wish to believe, but I just can't believe it at this current point in time. And that second theory is the wormhole theory. Now, as I'm sure many science fiction experts or enthusiasts know already, a wormhole is something you enter and then exit somewhere else, and it can actually even go back in time or can go forward in time. And to me, this idea is very, very cool. That way, when someday I go into space and I encounter a black hole, I can confidently go into it expecting to exit in some other place, maybe another universe, instead of, just being crushed under the extreme amount of gravity going on in there. Because that doesn't bode too well for me. And from past experience, I don't like being crushed. Not sure when I ever was crushed, but I don't like the idea of it. Happening to me, at least. Anyway, so I think the wormhole theory would be the most fun of the two theories, considering that you go into one thing and it basically transports you somewhere else. I don't know what method it theorizes that actually takes you from point A to point B, but that's what the theory is and that's what it's supposed to do. Of course, if this is to be true, and actually some people do think, as recent studies have shown, that it's actually a possibility, this would just be way cool, man. Like super, super cool. Then we could literally go from one universe to another simply by going through a black hole. The reason I think this theory is actually complete BS is because a black hole is formed when a star collapses and consumes mass around it. Now, what causes there to be a point B to this point A just because the star collapses? It's not like it collapses and then just this point B opens up somewhere. There, you can't see my hand, but there it is. That makes no sense. So here's star, he collapses, black hole, consuming everything, is getting bigger. And then there's just like this point B just sitting up here like, yo, what's up, guys? I'm point B. If you go in point A, you come out in point B. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't think it works that way. Anyway, TJ, I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while, and I can't wait until we actually finally get this housing situation under control, which will probably be a few months from now. But here's the question I'd like to pose next. Feel free to answer it quickly and then pose your own question, or feel free to completely ignore it if you want to. Because again, we can both determine how these episodes go. Anyway, my question is, does social pressure exist naturally, or do we create it within our own heads? And let me explain this further in detail, because lately I've been doing exercises to push the limits of social pressure in order to understand that there's not really that much to fear, and I've only been conditioned to fear social pressure. I would go way more into detail, and you knowing me personally know that I could go into a lot of detail and kind of fluff it into this topic, but I'm going to spare everyone and just let you answer that question or ignore it if you wish. But I hope you're doing well, and I plan on seeing you next time. Anyway, TJ, I look forward to your response and your question or topic or just something you want to tell me that's really cool.